About to go down, show 39. I hope I turned that ring on, T. Let me check that. Let me see if I turned. I think I did. I think I turned it on. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. And welcome to Outside the Round Table. I'm your host, H.L. Seiler. We played a little Sweet Georgia this morning because you know it's all about Georgia today. But like we do every week, before every show, I'm going to take a moment of silence for almost 400,000 people that lost their lives to this pandemic. So can you join me for a moment of silence, please? Thank you very much. And before I go any further, I also want to send a shout out to our first responders, who we all know are the real heroes and sheroes of this pandemic. So, God bless you guys, and we love you. Everybody ready? I said, is everybody ready? Okay, well, let's get to it. Is it me? I'm not talking about Joy 106.3 FM, Daytona's favorite gospel station. I'm talking about Outside the Round Table. Is it me, or does it look like Trump been caught red-handed attempting to get the Secretary of Georgia to recalculate? You know what recalculate mean, don't you? You know what I need? 11,080 votes, don't you? Come on, guys. I don't need but 11,000. Come on, guys. Huh? Are you kidding me? Everybody, are you kidding me? They should be pushing for him to be out the White House right now. If that was Obama, they'd be with pitchforks in front of the White House right now. This man openly, in plain sight, on tape, trying to get those officials to change the outcome of that Georgia election. Come on, America. Are y'all kidding me right now? He should be made to leave the White House right now. That's how I feel. Y'all welcome to call in and say how y'all feel. 386-516-8030-8031. I mean, I'm just exasperated today. Because it seemed like he is above the law. Huh? You know what? I want to talk about something else that's been bothering me. You know what? I think it's very important to me that the majority hear this. And when you start harming my kids, this police killed Tamir Rice in less than 2 seconds. Listen to me. In less than 2 seconds of exiting his vehicle. Now, I don't know about you. I was just a little sociology major. But that can't be police protocol. How could you decipher anything in 2 seconds? importantly, how can you still have a job? Come on, y'all. Now y'all want to charge the officer. Now this, I'm going to give you a blatant example of why I always say the media is complicit. Now, I think this happened in 2014, but anyway, charges still hadn't been brought up against this guy, and guess what? Charges won't be. Charges won't be. Because guess what? They had the nerve to tell us that the video was grainy. Huh? They had the nerve to tell us the video was grainy. I seen that video, and I know most of you have too. I saw a little kid playing in the park with his gun, with a little play toy gun, like I did thousands of times as a kid. And the police pull up for no inexplicable reason and open fire on that kid. That's what I saw on my eye. How grainy did that video gotta be for me not to see that? I saw that. See, this is why I say they're playing games with our lives. Because you gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. Listen, this is why I say the media is complicit. Getting back to my initial thought. How about when the media gave that story the other day? They didn't even have a video. They didn't even have a video. How you gonna talk about a story and the solution or the understanding came about as being a grainy video as the reason, the main reason. This kid is, this little 12-year-old kid is dead. Because to terrorize all our kids. Because it could have been any of our kids. But how could you report that without showing the video for the people to see? How could you report that without the video? I'm screaming at the TV. Show the video so people can see. So we can know how ludicrous that is. How outlandish that is. For you to sit and have the audacity to sit there and tell us it's grainy. It's the reason you're not charging him. You know, I'm going to make some people mad today. I'm going to be a little controversial today. Because I feel we ain't paying attention. I feel the African American community being attacked and we asleep. I feel America's attacking the African American community and we're asleep. Are you kidding me? Somebody can call and tell me if I'm tripping. 386-516-8030. But let me tell you something. I'm a God-fearing man. All I want to do is live and raise my family and be a great American. But when you start killing my kids, understand me, when you start killing my kids, all bets off. I'm going to give you what you're looking for. Because you about got us on our knees. I'm going to die on my feet before I live on my knees. You better believe that. We as the minority, and I'm talking about Latinos, I'm talking about poor white people. We're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. And once you think we ain't in the same boat, how much money you got? You got $600 like everybody else, then you in the same boat. Understand me. Some days we can come do a show. Some days we got to do a gut check. That's what it's all about. Because you remember I told you I talk about anything. I talk about myself. Ain't nobody above being talked about when they not stepping up to the plate. They had a problem with coming up killing their kids. I bet you that. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I'm talking about. Everybody should be outraged that a 12-year-old kid got killed. And after all these years, they shouldn't wait for it to die down. They're talking about the video grainy. We can't charge you. You kicking in our doors, shooting us in our bed. We got our hands up, you killing us. It's time for this. It's time for us as black people, minorities, as Mexicans, as Guatemalans, as Hondurans, as Jamaicans and Africans and whoever, and white people who ain't making $100,000 a year. Y'all in the boat with us. Stop thinking you ain't. This is about money. You want to keep feeding y'all the same Kool-Aid. And we keep drinking. Sit in my face and tell me you killed my 12-year-old and you're going to tell me you can't charge me because the video grainy? Will y'all come in the black neighborhood and lock up black people for conspiracies? No evidence, no nothing, it's a conspiracy. Oh, you said that on a phone or something? Y'all can do that. Y'all can find any kind of way to bring charges up against us. But somehow y'all can't bring no charges up when we get killed. And for all y'all who talk about black life, well, I'm tired of Black Lives Matter. We tired of getting killed. When you talking about Black Lives Matter all the time, everybody like I can't tell. We the only one getting killed. We gotta say it like, do our life matter? Our life matter too, because we the only one getting killed. So it seems like to y'all our life don't matter. So that's why we say that. Every time we say something, y'all want to make us feel like we victimizing y'all. Sense of entitlement. He was a man who done lost the election, and he going around undermining the government, subverting the government in plain sight. And they ain't hauled his butt to jail yet. People finna get hurt. People finna get killed behind this man. It's bad enough he don't sit here and let the pandemic run wild. He don't find out he can make money conning his supporters out of money now. Why would anybody? Let me ask the Trump supporters a question. If he's so rich, why y'all giving him y'all money? I don't know about me, but if he's rich and he love me so much, I'd be asking for something. I don't know about y'all. That's how I feel. I sure wouldn't be getting my money when I can't even go to his golf club. If y'all ain't a big time donor, y'all can't even go to this golf club sending this man money. Don't be no sheep. Stop being a sheep. I saw people like Ted Cruz and Hockley, I don't even know where he come from, trying to sit out there and be Trump-like because he don't make it all right. Until people start going to jail, people gonna keep coming up and keep coming up and keep coming up trying to emulate Donald Trump and trying to get his base by doing the same thing he doing. People, it's been so much malfeasance, it's been so much corruption going on. People need to go to jail, man. Y'all come in the black neighborhood and do these reverse stings and all that stuff. They come in and create crime, then you put us in jail. But here go crime being committed right in your face at a major level and you do nothing. So you know how that upsets us? Those of us who see what y'all do in our neighborhood day in, day out? And how y'all talk to the 60 and 70 and 50, 60-year-old people like their kids. 23-year-old cop talking to a 60-year-old man like he a child. A law-abiding citizen who paying his taxes and paying his salary. Come on, black people. Come on, minority people. Come on, Mexicans. Come on, Guatemalans. Come on, poor white people. We need to band together. They got us fighting. That's by design. You gonna have to either extremely rich or extremely poor. Ain't gonna be no middle class. Don't you see what they doing? Y'all better wake up. Put them games down. We need to organize. We hold our own fate. Gotta call you on the elders HL outside the round table. Go ahead.
Good morning there, Mr. HL.
Good morning.
Hey, how you doing this afternoon, sir?
I'm just concerned, very concerned.
I understand your frustration with everything going on. Besides, right now, this is your radio show. It's a very powerful meeting show, very touchy. And I'm listening at you, and I see that they have touched a spot inside of you, and I can hear it in your voice.
Well, you hear right too.
Some people say it's the way of the world. Some people say it's the American way. It's the right of the world. I agree with you 125%. I don't know why you give it money. I don't know why you support it. But hey, everybody supports somebody some kind of way because that's the same way they believe that things should be ran in this country.
I agree 100% with you, my brother. I'm finna talk about H.L. Seiler alone calls for all minority families to have kids who are considering this NCAA. We need to talk to y'all today. Because I got an open letter right here to the NCAA that I want to read. And I'm reaching out to black people that got kids that's coming up in middle school and stuff to listen to what I got to say and understand what I got to say and try to understand where I'm coming from. Y'all probably finna be upset with me, but we got to stop playing checkers, y'all, while they playing chess. And what I mean by that is, even if you don't want your kid to miss out, because you so-called want them to go to the pros, that's the old days. The pros going to find you wherever you are now. You see? So what we need to do, we need to get a movement afoot to tell the NCAA that a scholarship is no longer good enough. So I got an open letter to the NCAA. And you can get mad all you want. All I'm doing, if they love us so much, it should be ways for money to flow into our neighborhood, not flow out our neighborhood all the time. Huh? Even a farmer put fertilized horse manure in his soil. I don't see these coaches getting these kids, putting that back into the neighborhood they come from. This is an open letter to the NCAA and all its charter members across the country. A scholarship in its present form simply is no longer good enough. And the African American community is serving notice that no longer can we sit by in good faith and allow you and your chartered members to continue to make billions of dollars without sharing of said revenue. In my book, I'm going to outline a comprehensive model in which to draw from in order to address the needs of our kids, ladies and gentlemen. We have these coaches from these prominent Division I programs invading our community each and every year to sign our kids while not putting one dime back into the communities in which they come from. So if the NCAA thinks the African American community is asleep, then they need to think again. Because it's time to start treating our kids as young adults, and not profit margins. We as a community must become proactive on the issues that pertain to our kids. And that begins with a grassroots effort all over this country to bring about the change that is needed and long overdue. This practice of not compensating our kids, when in fact, listen to me, when in fact, they're the one fueling this industry. They're the one fueling this industry. And if we care anything about the future of our kids, then now is that time. You see what they're doing. Now is that you kill our kids up, we bring our kids in the yard. They start playing the HBUs. And we have a good old time. You want to kill our kids up? Okay, we bring them in the yard. What your mama do when it's dangerous in the street? She tell you to come play in the yard. We come play in the yard. Come play in the yard. That's HBCUs. And let's see if Nick Saban gets $20 million to walk the sideline with an all-white team. We hold our future. Stop letting people dictate to us. Win the game. This means every parent. This the hard part. See, this the part that everybody, oh man, I like that, but guess what? Black people ain't gonna stick together like that. Don't they with their kids to go. You gotta understand that if we change the culture, and your kid good enough, he gonna go to pole. But if he ain't good enough, we want him to get a degree and have some money in his pocket once he get his degree to start his life. What about that? Huh? Don't that make sense? That way you helping the black community get healthy. This means every parent that has a kid playing at the middle school level must stand up for once now and demand that the NCAA address the plight of our kids and understand that we have a responsibility to our most precious resource, and that's our kids. That's our kids. Now, when y'all start messing with the kids, we got to step up. And to make sure they're taken care of once they leave home. Huh? We want to make sure that there's safety nets out there for our kids, that once they leave home, they're looked out. They're looked out for. Okay? No university would concern, no university would concern themselves with our kids like we will. We as a community must insist that there be safety nets put in place in order to protect our kids, everybody, arriving on these campuses. We must demand that policies be created and implemented that will be in the best interest of our kids. Not you going down every year to Fort Lauderdale and making up rules to punish our kids. That's all you do. Every time you have these conventions every summer, you make more antiquated rules to go with this game to control our kids. Don't think I don't see you. Don't think we don't see you. We must demand these policies be created and implemented that would be in the best interest of our kids. In this book, I would touch on ideas like the university graduation bonus, y'all. You ain't never heard this before. This is something I came up with because I went through this. UGB, we're going to call it, the University Graduation Bonus. We're going to call it the UGB. And that's a tool that I will focus on in my book once it's finished. But in this chapter, I will focus on this particular blueprint that are put into place with dramatically, I can't say it emphatically enough, ensure a more healthy environment for both the African American community and the universities as well. That's a win-win situation, don't you think? When these policies were put in place, it one-sided. This would give our kids that safety net to help them become the productive citizen we all wish for our child. Right? Am I right? This policy would ensure every kid that signs a letter of intent has this safety net in place, the UGB. And what the UGB would be standard in every scholarship in America. And what it would state is simply this. At that exact moment that kid signs that scholarship, he becomes an entity within himself. And depending on the amount of money, I use $10,000 because I know that's way ballpark low for $10,000 a year for every guy on the team. $10,000 would be automatically going to a trust fund account in their name. That amount would be added every year until his 5th year or his 4th year, whichever. He got 5 to play for, which would cover his red shirt year if needed. That money was sitting in quiet interest until that kid graduated. And the only way this money could be received is if that kid graduated in 5 years from the time he enrolled. Huh? That's what you call the incentive tool to keep kids in school. That one policy, just that one policy, would have a profound effect on college sports and the kids that play the game. Not to mention having placed that motivational tool to motivate our kids to stay in school and graduate. I mean, we would see the graduation rate rise dramatically among African American men. That number could be adjusted based on the amount of money. The money that I was talking about could be adjusted based on the amount of money. It could be more money, it could be less money. It's the amount of money you generate in that program. When you go to a restaurant, you're gonna give a waitress 18 to 20%. So why the players can't get 18 to 20% of all revenues made of them divided up? So when they leave school, everybody can't go to the pros. But guess what? I made the 4 years I was there, I made the school $300 million. I should have had something for that. Why the only way we gonna benefit from it is to go to the pros? Everybody can't go to the pros, but I just made you $300 million. I'm a 3-year starter. I just made you $300 million. Black community should listen. These people making billions off our kids, billions. And the only person that ain't benefiting is us. See, and when we say something, I thought y'all were going to never say that. Come on, let's sit down. No, we're going to say, hey, we're going to do a blackout in 21, 22. Keep on. What's a blackout, Chip? A blackout is saying that no kid going to take the field in 21, 22 unless y'all sit to the table and show us the books. And when y'all show us the books, then we can go from there. These kids should have percentages of it, and a lot of rules need to be changed. For instance, when a player transfer, should be able to play right away. Yeah, should be able to play right away. Player should be able to enter the draft. He don't like his position. He don't like where he got drafted, still can play. You have players leaving early, knowing that if they stay another year, they might go first round. But guess what? The grind is so hard on your body. So you say, I might as well go play for any amount of money than play for this. That's why you have people leaving the game early, leaving college early, knowing they ain't even for them to get drafted. They rather go a free agent and try to hand at that. If you start getting these kids compensation, then you get all them kids to stay. Thus making the game healthier. See, I keep telling everybody who will listen, those with power will never relinquish that power unless they're forced to. If I'm making millions of dollars off of you, I ain't gonna say nothing if you don't say nothing. We gotta man, listen. We hold all the cards. We just unorganized as heck. And I'm gonna get to it on their future shows. We're gonna talk about the two deadliest diseases in the black community. That's apathy and haterism. We're gonna talk about that in future shows. I see no reason why they themselves, that means the NCAA and these colleges wouldn't want to be proactive regarding our kids anyway. This modern day free labor model can no longer continue. There's simply too much, ladies and gentlemen, there's simply too much money being generated in collegiate football and basketball for us not to be getting them when we don't want to play the game. The NCAA must be forced to open up their blind eyes when it comes to the actual bodies that fuel this industry. Now, one policy would do away with the practice of my kids leaving before their senior year. Knowing that going in the first round wasn't likely, and they leaving anyway. Do you actually believe, let me tell you something, that should tell you right there. Do you actually believe a kid would willingly give up his eligibility to enter the draft knowing he might not even get drafted at all? See, now, if we had these policies in place, that kid just would simply stay in school and keep playing, and he might get drafted higher next year. But he's not getting nothing, and the grind gets so hard, till you say, I'd rather just go as a free agent. At least I'm making something. And that's what's happening. That's what's going on with our kids. These policies would allow kids a chance to stay in school and enter the draft when they're ready, making these teams better as well. The ramifications of the UGP and also promoting a $1,000 monthly stipend that I will touch on later. And that would have enormous impact. Those two policies would have an enormous impact on the game itself, not to mention the African American community as a whole, everybody. These are the types of safety nets that if put in place, would entitle our kids to stay in school and graduate. If they can't be good enough to play for some reason, but because we all have seen in our community that the McDonald's All-Americans, labor came as prospect, comes back into that community for whatever reason, in disgrace. Not even 2 years, probably that kid with the shining light of the hood. Now he's back selling dope and drugs or doing them himself. You ever wonder why that happened? It ain't the kids' fault all the time. Being lied to by coaches, put in bad situations, now you can't transfer, so you get discouraged. These are young adults. We're supposed to make it where they can make a mistake and not have to say, you between 18 and 25 is your prime. If I go there and say I can't play, I want to go somewhere else and play, why I gotta sit out? I'm in my prime. You ain't gotta sit out. When you take another job for 20 million or 10 million and leave everybody you know brought there to another coach come in with a whole nother offense, them players that's already there, that's not even their type of offense. Now they're on the outs. Seen that happen too many times. We all know somebody who fit that bill, that profile. It happens every year in our community. If these policies are implemented, that would be a thing of the past. Because these policies would help our community make sure our kids come back with degrees. Degrees. We can't allow kids' lives to be ruined just because $1 million coaches have decided to stockpile talent in an effort to keep their jobs. See, it's got to be skin in the game for everybody. We must let them know that we are serious when it comes to the handling of our kids, everybody. We need young black attorneys out there, African American attorneys in the community to get together and file a class action lawsuit. These anti-labor laws should be applying to this, to the NCAA. It's a corporation making money not paying its workers. Are you kidding me? I bet if the show was reversed, I bet you they'd be trying to get theirs. Bet you that. Listen, we need to get together, file class action lawsuits, demand these kids be allowed to share in on these vast amounts of money being generated off their backs. You got damages and changes to be seeked $2 billion per year industries that does absolutely nothing for its players. There needs to be a movement designed to force the NCAA and its universities to put money back into these youth leagues that they take these kids from. This organization has lived long enough on poor inner city kids. And it's time to put a stop to this practice, everybody. If our community would just open its eyes, it would be easy to see the exploitation of our kids. Telling us there isn't enough money will no longer suffice. We know better. To that, we must say, okay, show us the books. Could you show us the books so we can make an assessment? I can assure you, they do not want you to see them books. I can assure you they don't want to see them books. Because, ladies and gentlemen, they making money. And when they see that you see all the money they making, they already know that you finna hit the roof. That's why they don't want you to see the books. That's why they keep hollering about scholarships and it. I can assure you, they do not want you to see their books because, make no mistake about it, billions are being made off the backs of our kids. And they love to say, if we pay the football players and the basketball players, what about the volleyball players? What about the tennis players? What we must say to that emphatically is, we want you to pay whoever generates the money based on the money that sports brings in. In other words, plain and simple. In other words, if the tennis player making that kind of money, he's supposed to get it too. But if he ain't, he ain't generating no money. That's simple. The system of entitlement. I got 100,000 people in the stadium every night, every week. He playing in front of 30 people. You want to try to tie that together? I don't think so. Oh, by the way, what they won't tell you is basketball plays for basketball, right? Football pays for everything else. Football pays for everything else. So why are you sitting there telling me, oh, we're going to pay the volleyball players and the tennis players and the golfers? We're already paying them. We're getting them a scholarship. Because football pay for everything else. So in essence, I'm paying for your kid's scholarship already. Kidding me? This is why they don't want you to know nothing. They don't want you to know what's going on. Because they know you're going to speak out about it. Because they won't tell you the fact that football and basketball pay for everything else. Your kids already paying for their kids' scholarship if they're a tennis or golfer. So you're telling me it's okay for our kids to pay for your kids' scholarship, but it's not okay for our kids to feel they deserve some money. Oh, really? We must continue to stay vigilant when dealing with organizations that change the rules every year but never attempt to look at the rules and regulations pertaining to the African American kids that actually play the game. It seems that one aspect that should change every year should be that of the compensation package. Huh? The compensation package for our kids should be going up each and every year, just like their compensation package is going up each and every year. See, all this is a way to generate money, to bring money back into the black community. Because the black community really is a dime. But it's being carved all up by this country, and we don't even realize it. African American community is building this country. Just like we built the country. It's time that we stand up and demand what we just deserve. It's time for us. Everybody changing rules. Everybody being modern day. The scholarship and the black players that play the game. Come on now. All I can do is do my research and show y'all and tell y'all what they're doing. It's up to us to organize and to start talking about it. They don't want somebody like me digging in and trying to find all that out. That's why I come and I try to assimilate the information to everybody so everybody else will know what's going on. Because they try to hide all this stuff. I'm only trying to warn everybody. I'm only telling you how I feel having gone through that, having been lied to, having been used and abused at school by Coach Mike White, who should have never been even over no kids. I digress. What we're going to do, we're going to take a break, and we're going to come back and finish with this open letter to the NCAA. Be right back.
No Mass, your source for praise and worship 24/7. Joy 106.3.
Back, y'all. Listen. Well, like I was saying, it seems that the one aspect that should change every year should be the compensation package, like you do for the coaches. As a matter of fact, this organization called the NCAA has been proactive in implementing these rigid and intrusive regulations aimed solely at not giving its players anything, which is all the more reason for change to occur. Because if you really do care about your child, you should demand they change these rules that have been put in place strictly to benefit the schools our kids attend. The question really is about, what will the African American community do? Huh? That's really the $1 million question. We can read this book, we can listen to me, and we can sit back and do nothing, or we can begin to deal with the fact that stares directly in the face. Because when you have coaches out here making $10 to $20 million a year, and you got NCAA commissioners who I don't know what they do. There's a title, just a figurehead of title. I don't even really know what the NCAA for. Just take your money. Need no NCAA. You want to get like that? But I digress. Because I got beef. You know, I got beef with that whole athletic thing, because I've been through it. The NCAA commissioners and athletic record making millions annually. They're making millions annually. It seems so hypocritical to me and disingenuous for that same organization to argue against any type of financial assistance for its players. I keep telling everybody, the players need a union. College players need a union. Who represents the players? Nobody. Coaches represent, schools represent, nobody represents the players. And the fact that collegiate football and basketball are thriving, and at no time does the NCAA factor in the African American kid in that equation. Not at one time. Frankly, it's disturbing. In fact, they had a nerve to become downright indignant at the mere mention of such a thing. That we crazy or something. It is my assertion that the NCAA feels in some way that the African American kids should just be happy, just be playing at one of these schools. That somehow our kid getting what they refer to as a free ride, room, board, tuition, should somehow be happy and be content. But in fact, what we need to inform them of is the fact that that free ride is just about up. Huh? That free ride is just about up. We need to convey to them that these sports called collegiate football and basketball are our kids. And when we start thinking like that and talking like that and acting like that, they'll start dealing with us like that. It's time they realize our kids are the sole reason these billion-dollar television deals exist in the first place. Because we all know that Nick Saban could go out there with an all-white team and nobody would watch it. Cookman and FAMU could go out there with all the top 5-star players, and the TV and the scalpers would be right there. It's up to us. We hold our own key to our own future. All we gotta do is stop all the stinking thinking. That's all we gotta do. Stop all the stinking thinking. We're too quick to say, don't bother. No. No. There needs to be a model put in place for at least 20% of revenues made off these sports allowed to the players. Because we say student athletes should be paid. I mean, who says that? Student athletes should be paid. Who says that anyway? I would like the NCAA to show the African American community the books from the last 5 years. If I'm wrong, show us the books and prove me wrong. I dare you. Because I know what I'm talking about, and you know I know what I'm talking about. That's why you won't show us the book. Ladies and gentlemen, they are actually making billions of dollars off our kids. So we can sit down at the table and make decisions based on the fact that's in front of us. So let's sit down. I'm willing to bet you, if you can find football and basketball and all the merchandise that go along with that television deal, we will find out that there is plenty of money in which to pay our kids a better benefit package. Huh? Plenty of money. I can assure you, if they chose to give our kids $10,000 for every year they enrolled in class for up to 5 years and $1,000 monthly stipend to be paid out weekly, the amount of money they would give our kids wouldn't even add up to 10%. Trust me. I feel if we demand they open the books, we find out the vast amount of money being generated off the backs of our kids. So it's not that it can't be done or that it isn't any money. It's simply that they themselves aren't willing. Because they don't feel they got to. Because we all know the African American community not going to stand up. We all know the African American community ain't going to stick together. We all know you're going to have those mothers and fathers, oh, my son got to go to Alabama, or my son, no, don't think it's about your kid. It's about all our kids. It's about generations to come. We need to change the culture right now. You wouldn't go to your job and be working like a slave and see that you're making all the money and you doing all the work and you ain't hardly getting no money. Same thing. Same thing. They're not willing for the simple fact that the NCAA is trying to remember have a stranglehold on $1 billion plus per year monopoly. And have no intention whatsoever of sharing any of that money with the African American kids or the community in which they come from. Now they both think it is they've gotten away with it for so long, and the African American community isn't going to put up a fight about it. So why worry? Trust me, there isn't anyone in America that can convince me there isn't enough money for our kids to not be able to share, at least a small portion of that money in some shape, form, or fashion. Always remember, those with power and money would never relinquish their hold until they're forced to. And we got to become that driving force. Simple. Our community must somehow come together and serve notice to the NCAA that there can no longer be this business as usual approach. And the best interests of our kids must be taken into consideration. The NCAA has to realize that we are serious when it comes to our kids. Huh? After all, when you've been free to run a corporation making billions of dollars, the only way you're going to profit that money is by policies that force you to. So that's exactly what we got to have to do happen in order for the NCAA to include our kids. The NCAA knows scholarship there is no longer good enough anyway. And we can't continue to sit back and do nothing. Because we would be just as much to blame. We'd be just as much to blame. Come on. Because we would be saying, what we would be saying is our kids' welfare isn't important to us. And I know that ain't true. You see, they find money for everything but our kids. So I think it's time we address these issues ourselves. If the NCAA, in fact, does care about our kids, why should they want to join us in becoming proactive in solving the issues that confront our kids? Why is it that we have this organization that uses our kids to generate such enormous amounts of money, yet it seems the only interest they have is finding ways to punish our kids, using mostly policies that are outdated, that come nowhere near reflect the issues that affect the modern day college player. Hence the real need for putting safety nets in place to protect our kids the moment they set foot on these campuses, everybody. Policies that if were in place when I attended college would have had a profound effect on the course of my life. Now the real dilemma that confronts our community is that of action. Y'all sit here and listen to me on the radio, nobody call in to incur, and then when I get out the radio, nobody won't incur, call nobody and say, what's up with this NCAA? What are they talking about? Oh, go ask some of the kids who playing ball. Y'all who be on the porch watching everybody every time we try to bring a girl in the house and all that. Y'all know who y'all are. Tell your mama, oh, you had a girl in that house by you was at work. Well, y'all care so much about us. I want to hear y'all talking about, hey, the kids need to have some money. What y'all doing with our kids? Because guess what? That's going to be bringing them kids back with degrees. Because now you got to sit, man, I ain't finna leave, man. I ain't finna leave. I got a year and a half left, man. And when I got my UGB coming, that's 50 grand, baby. I can go home and get me a ride, or I go home and put me a down payment on a house, and now I got a little money for my next aid to start my little life off with. That's making the black community healthier. Why shouldn't them kids that don't went to Killam Center or anywhere play 3 years and generate all of that money not be able to come home with something to bring back to the community? Why? Why it's got to be an all or nothing approach with us? You got to make it to the pros. Yeah, but I made you $300 million from a freshman to a junior. What about that? I'm mentioning a challenge personally to the African American community. Here's a perfect example of things I've spoken about. I would like you right now to envision what I'm about to say. Picture how you think your kids would feel if he went into this campus bookstore and saw his jersey on display, complete with his name on the back and everything being sold. His jersey was selling at $100 a pop, and it was selling so fast the bookstore couldn't keep him in stock. But now your kid wasn't in that bookstore to buy anything because he didn't have a dime in his pocket. In fact, your kid was in that bookstore along with some other players for the one sole purpose to steal some candy or any other small item that they could put in their pocket because they were hungry. I was that kid. Halfway across the country, left to fend for myself. I should never been put in that situation. No kid should be put in those situations. When you come get our kids, you sit in our front room and let our parents, there should be some consequences behind it. We, as a black community, we got to change the stinking thinking. We kings and queens. Let the man be treated that way. Come on, y'all. We got to get engaged. If we don't, we're going to get left behind. Simple as that. If we don't, we're going to get left behind. It's time for them to pay our kids. They just signed another contract. Another one. For billions. That kid ain't getting nothing. I'm tired of seeing all these dudes that was good in college and don't make the pros come home with nothing. They do, if they don't make the pros, even if they don't get a chance to go to pros, they generated income while they was there. There should have been some kind of trust fund, something put aside for them kids. Problem like this exists solely because of stupid policy set by the NCAA that never take into account the plight of the African American kids who come from the inner city or some poor family. These kids come a lot of time with no money at all, and the NCAA has continued to be indifferent toward these kids who were setting forth these policies. I had never stolen a candy bar in my life until I arrived on the campus of University of Illinois, Champaign, Urbana. And I'm going to tell you that I felt ashamed for having to do that. But I was hungry. I should have never been put in that situation like that. And neither should your child. University need to be held responsible for our kids once they arrive on these campuses, man. So I'm not going to, what I want to say to everybody is this. Nothing changes if nothing changes. Nothing changes if nothing changes, everybody. We hold our own destiny in our hand. But the longer we let this go on, the harder it's going to be for us to get back. All the money being generated in this country, and a lot of it been generated off of us, and we ain't even benefit. Not just college sports, a lot of other things that we're going to get into in the weeks to come. Because I espouse that that's propaganda that's made to make the black community look less desirable because they're making all the money on the black community. Because really the black community is a diamond. It's a diamond. And I can explain to you in future shows how it's a diamond. Because a little piece of the community has been divided up by this country and by segments and departments of this country. The correctional department, the tax department, the police department, and on and on. So what I'm going to continue to do on my show, outside the roundtable at gmail.com, if you want to hit me up, I'm going to continue to try to bring pertinent information while stimulating conversation and assimilating that information to the masses, to the V, to Daytona. Because I got y'all back. Y'all might not do nothing, but I'm going to let you know about it. Y'all might not something y'all if y'all do something, but I'm going to let you know what's going on. Yeah, Marvin Gaye, what's going on? So I love everybody. And until next Tuesday at 12, man, y'all be safe. This virus is running wild, okay? This ain't just outside the round table, and I'm out.